pull up the chair. Hi folks, let's just turn you around a little bit. Ignore this, I've been trying to fix this LED work light. The big middle one has only worked once, so I think one of its wires has come out and I've got no idea how to take it apart. It's sort of glass fronted and I think that's just glued on, so I think a trim removal tool or something will gently pry it out. Anyway, that's not what the subject of this video is. This is the next part of Slinky the SLK, because it's now Saturday. I had a busy day yesterday, I got a busy day tomorrow. Anyway, he's got new wipers and his new number plates have just come with sticky pads. This is some of the early videos you've probably seen his registration. Jim, you're not looking at the camera leak. I think, oh no, we are terrible quality. So he's gone back on his original registration, which is what you'll see why it appealed to me soon. Right, his original registration said "Arse," so that was the one. If you're ordering new plates these days, in theory, to pass an MOT, it needs the plate manufacturer, just their ID, and it needs the old BS British standards there, and it needs to be the correct legal spacing. You're allowed to have a border and you're allowed to have a flag, or whatever you want, you horrible green eco shit, but otherwise it's classed as a show plate and technically it's not road legal. You'd be very unlucky if you got pulled for it, but if the MOT tester didn't know you, or you know, anything like that, he would fail it on that, or she would fail it, because there's bound to be some lady MOT testers out there, although I have never come across one or met one. Anyway, today's job is actually to get the exhaust on. We're going to jack the car up, see how long it takes to get the old one off. Some of the rear fixings are quite rusty. The bolts, I think a tap with a toffee hammer would probably get rid of those, but we'll see. I need the car in the air to get to the front manifold bolts that bolt, Jesus Christ, that bolt to the manifold. Oh, that was my mince last night. We'll get on them. I can get on them with an extension and what have you. Hopefully they won't be too bad. If not, there's always an angle grinder or a chisel. It will come off, trust me. It'll come off one way, whether it likes it or not. And then when they're off, I can take out the O2 sensors, put them on the new exhaust, and then try and fit the new exhaust. And I'm tempted to get the Dremel out and grind on the bottom of the catalytic converter. Fuck off, you thieving pikey cunts. But I might not. Although the police officer did tell me at the time, if they sort of know if it's a replacement exhaust, they don't tend to steal those because there isn't as many precious metals and stuff. But we'll see. That's the plan for today. And now I'm going to take you outside and show you so far what we've done to the wing, because I've got the structural hole filler. Oh look, there's self-portrait on there as well, and show you what's gone on with that. Yes, lovely. Ooh. What the? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, I don't think those bolts would do long for the world either, do you? Look at them cunts. Bastards. Look at me gash. Welcome to the underside of Slinky. There's the other half of the exhaust. Yes, there is a slight oil leak on the diff, which will be addressed at some point. But you can probably see the state of the bracket. I hope you can. Anyway, for the front part of the exhausting section, I've got to try and get up there, which is actually alright with a long extension wobbly. they look like, I think, 12mm. But on the side here, we've got some fixings on the side as well. They've got to come off, so I'm going to give them a squirtulation of water dispertant recipe number 40, and then just leave them to soak for a bit, because I've got to get this idea in my head that it's got to be done, Take my time, enjoy it. I've already decided that the rest of the rear of the exhaust might actually have to come off and possibly be replaced, because that bracket is in a pretty sorry state. Even if I could get the old bolts out, they're rusted in, but even if I could get the old bolts out, I don't think the bracket's going to be any good. Nice. Gotcha. Oh, you lucky boy, you. This is the rear O2 sensor, and you can see the state of the original fittings. Now the other half of the bracket is like that. It doesn't really bode well for trying to clamp anything to it. I think the course of action may have to be is to replace the rest of the exhaust from this back, and then we'll have a whole new back section from we'll have an whole new exhaust from the manifold. That may be the way to go, because I don't think, I mean, the other brackets like this, I don't think we're going to be able to recover it. I don't know yet, early days, which is why I've come away from that for 5 minutes and come and got the sensor out, because it's just takes your mind off it. Fitted the new sensor with a little tiny little bit of exhaust paste just to help it seal. If I've got any braiding, I'm going to wrap some new braiding around it. I may have some, and then it'll I mean, once the wire's clipped up out of the way, it's completely out of the way, but I might have some heat-proof braiding, which would be a good idea to put on. Beverage cancel pop. Right, having to give up for the day. The front part of the exhaust that goes from manifold, well, that part of the exhaust, what's left of it, the front bolts can't. They're in sort of look. The head's look in pretty good condition. They're 13mm, but they're really difficult to get to. I haven't got any room at all under the car, and we have jacked up a good way. It's up on blocks. Lose some weight, you fat. But apart from that, so we've just gave up for now because I'm starting to lose my temper. And when it gets to that, give up, walk away, do something else. But we're a little bit further along. We've got the other bit of the exhaust off. I think I may have to replace all of the back end of the exhaust, because like I say, that bracket, even if I could drill the old, what's left of the old bolts out, I don't think the bracket's in very good shape. I don't think it'll take a clamping load. So it might just be that I might just have to replace the mid box, and if I'm going to do that, I may as well replace the back box and just put a new exhaust on it. So that's where we are. I'm happy with what we've got done, but I'm also disappointed we didn't get it done. To be fair, as soon as I took this bit off, I knew it was sort of game over of putting the new one on, because I mean, without probably taking out the rear exhaust and trying to sort that bracket out minimum, we're sort of dead in the water. But we will not be beat. There is no time limit on this. This is like I've just said. I am really impatient, and it's like when I fix anything on the bike, like, I've got to fix that today. Got to do it. And I mean, this car's been laid up 2 years, so even if it takes 6 months, so what? Even if I miss this summer, so what? We'll get it done. Bernard's going to get under it tomorrow and just see what he can do. The only problem is you can get under it, but then you're really limited to swing a ratchet around. I've got the mid bracer off. That came off, no problem at all. I just, instead of undoing it from the exhaust, I undid it from the body of the car, straight out, no problem. There's a rubber mounted like isolator. They came out no problem. Bolts are in really good shape. The rubber isolator is in very good shape, and so is the bracket. Although now I've got when that bit of the exhaust comes off, I can then unbolt that bracket, bolt it onto that loosely so it lines up, get it all lined up first. But it looks like I've probably got to have a new back end. So yes, so that's where we're at. So I'm going to leave it there. The wing is ready, almost ready for filler. We've just got to cut it back a bit, cut the paint back a bit, smooth it, and then it'll be ready for filler. But that's like jumping off one job, jumping on another job, and I'm trying to get out of that habit. I do it a lot. It's probably where anything gets fixed. I've now got to run Olive up because I adjusted the air screws a little bit yesterday with the carburetor tool, and what was it? I wanted to adjust the idle. The idle was slightly high, and I adjusted it, and by the looks of it, it's the opposite way round on the Aprilia than it is to a Jap. Usually it's clockwise, but I saw where the screw goes into the carburetors that influences the throttle wheel, and I might have just routed mine slightly different, but when I was turning it in, it was backing it off because it would run on choke yesterday, and as soon as I knocked the choke out, it just cut off. I backed it off too much, so I've just twiddled with it again, and hopefully she'll start up and she'll carry on running off the choke. If not, some investigation is required. Other than that, good spirit. I'm in good spirits. I'm a little disheartened, but I'm in good spirits. You know, I really don't want to leave the car up on blocks on the drive, but you can't get the wheels off. It's resting on a ramp at the front and wooden blocks at the back. Well, I say can't get the wheels off. Pikers will take anything. I mean, there's no exhaust there to steal at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and then I don't know when I'm going to put this video out. So it'll either be Happy Saturday or it'll come out whenever. So enjoy the rest of the year.
A few inches later.
Yes. Oh dear, well, as you can see, things have escalated. I've took the top of the supercharger off because that gives me access, I don't know if you'll see, to the exhaust bolts, which I can't get anything on. I've tried getting the Dremel on, and I think I can get it on. But then I went all light-headed and fuzzy and had to have a lie down and a cup of coffee. This is the supercharger intake manifold, and this is the baffle plate that's inside. You can see how restricted it is, so I'm going to take that off before it goes back on again. We should be able to hear the supercharger whine once again, but yes, we're still cracking on with the exhaust. So yes, so 3 steps forward, 81 million steps back, but it's progress. Can somebody answer me a question? Why is it every time you get your bike gear on, or your overalls or anything like that, you want to poo? A lovely Eaton twin scroll supercharger. I wonder if it will fit Phyllis. What I might do while it's off is, it is a sealed unit, and they don't hold a lot of oil. But it might be an idea to crack this front plate off. Jim, just leave it alone. And change the oil. No, Jim, just leave it alone. Managed to get it off without damaging this gasket, which is a biggie. I will put a little daub of shit on this before it goes back together. Just a little very, very thin layer of blue hemorrhoid or whatever it's called, just to guarantee a seal. And I'm going to take that baffle plate out, and the screws have to go back in again with a little bit of thread seal, otherwise you get a vacuum leak, which is the same as like a boost leak on a turbo. You can actually fit boost valves to these, but there's no point really. They don't make massive amounts of power. In fact, it's one of the lowest pressurised superchargers fitted to a production vehicle. I wonder if it fits Phyllis.
One eternity later.
The new exhaust is on. I'm just putting the supercharger back on as usual. There's one bolt that's an absolute see you next Tuesday, but yes, plug the sensor in the front sensor. But that section of the exhaust is on, and it was a right arse of a job. Anyway, me and Uncle Barnyard have got it done. Couldn't have done it without him, etc, etc.
Oh, wow. That's done. We've had about 7 hours on it today. Just taking us time, working through it methodically. It owes me blood. The hardest part was actually getting the front of the exhaust loose. The rest of it weren't too bad. Even the manifold come off pretty easy. Every nut come off. All the studs are good, so they're all been anti-seized and all that lot. Supercharger came off. I've took the baffle plate out of that. That's got a nice little whine to it now. When every super loud like it is them obnoxious yank tanks, but it's a lot louder than what it was, which was ridiculous. So yes, next stage when funds allow, new back box, because the bracket on that old one's utterly bollocks, and so am I. So I now got shit in my eyes. Nice. So I'm now going to leave the video here, complete with melted butter. Yes. Goodbye.